by Benjamin Chua. Benjamin, you have done different SEO writing for our team. You really have a heart more than just writing for telling clear stories. So I thought it'd be important today for those who listen to our content to just hear from you and hear from myself just about the power of having a compelling brand story that ultimately connects with people through clear messaging that really transforms your marketing strategy, right? So I thought it'd be important for us to dive into how do you create a message that resonates so it can attract the right type of leads for your business, but not just for the sake of getting leads, but so that ultimately you can connect with people and build long-term relationships. So, Benjamin, you were saying off camera before we jumped on here just about how important it is to not just think about sales as getting more leads, but about building a long-term relationship. So, why do you feel like that's so vitally important? There's so many businesses out there saying, how do I get more leads? We want that, but we also want to build that depth of connection so that our message resonates. So, what's the importance of that long term relationship that you've seen in your time of working with businesses and nonprofits?
I think the phrase that comes to mind is that the ends do not justify the means. And one of the things that I love about you guys is you emphasize it's not just about leads, but it's about the right kind of leads. The way that you get the right kind of leads is by doing things the right way.
Yes.
So it's not just about the outcome, it's also about the journey.
Yeah.
And that journey looks like relationship. I was thinking on this call a little bit earlier about times when I've had really good experiences with marketing and times I've had very bad experiences with marketing,
Yes.
mostly being on the receiving end. And
Yeah.
obviously, people who are watching this, they're
Right.
either going to be on the receiving end or they're going to be thinking, how do I connect with people in a meaningful way?
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever had those random, unwanted sales calls of
Yes.
people trying to sell you something. Immediately, they launch into a script. Immediately, that's shoving something down your throat.
Yeah.
I feel a bit uncomfortable
Yeah.
thinking about it. They could have something that could add value to my life. But because of that immediate, I can smell a rat, I'm turned off. The only reason that someone might land a lead that way, in my opinion, is that actually maybe there are two reasons. One, people recognize, okay, I'm uncomfortable with the messaging, but maybe I do want this thing.
Mhm.
Or two, I'm afraid. This experience is making me afraid, and I'm motivated by fear to just accept what
Yeah.
people are doing. You might be able to get people to do what you want in the short term that way, but
Mhm.
if you want long-lasting relationships, if you want leads that will become friends, that will become people that you work with over a long period of time, you have to do things differently. You have to have content, meaningful content
Mhm.
that will invite people to partner with you, that will be mutually beneficial, where you can walk with people and understand them and understand their needs and then connect with them through that. See, is this even worth working out? Are we going to do something together in the first place?
That's really good because what it allows you to do is you're focused on the long term, not just the short term, right? I've been in those situations where we almost bought a timeshare one time and you almost feel bad saying no, right? They hit your pain points, but it's almost from a manipulation point of view instead of a connection point of view. And so here at Clear Sound, we're really focused on the goal of having a clear sound is you want to stand out from the noise. A lot of those companies that you're talking about, whether it's a telemarketer or someone even in person, what they're doing is they're just adding to the noise. They already know you're overwhelmed as a buyer and they're just adding to the overwhelm. And to me, it's just manipulation. You and I were just talking about an example of clients that have gone to baseball games with potential clients of theirs and spent that time building real connection. We have clients who we consider friends. We'd have dinner and we still have that business relationship. There's still times where we are clearly saying, here's the call to action, and I think a big piece of building that relationship is knowing where that call to action fits in. When is the appropriate time to say, we're not just building relationship for relationship's sake? That's a part of it, but there's also a transaction that happens naturally out of that relationship. And so often when I jump on a sales call with somebody, let's say they want a Clear Sound suite, which is a suite of tools that we do, or they want a website, I'm often saying, let's connect first. Let me hear about who you are and what your goals are. And what can I do to help? It's really exchange of value. I'm saying, wow, I really think I can help you add value to what you do to serve more customers. I was talking a couple of days ago with a carpentry company local to where we're at in Pittsburgh. And he said, man, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've never put my logo on a truck. I've never, advertised, but I really just want to get my name out there. And I said, let's put your logo on a truck and let's get you a website when people Google you, you can be found. So I feel like I could provide him real value. And the call to action is let's do a website. Here's all that I've done over the years. Here's a portfolio of my work, right? And that's really what you're talking about is you providing value for them. It becomes a win for you and a win for them. We want to make sure that kind of what we're narrowing down to is not just the sales, but the messaging. We want people to feel valued, not violated. Often it feels, hey, flash sale, Benjamin. This ends in 48 hours. If you don't grab it now, and sometimes that marketing works. And I've done that effectively for clients when it makes sense. But often we're so used to, is this actually a sale? Is this actually discounted? It's 90% off. Is it actually 90% off, or was it only worth what you're telling me it's being charged for now? And so just a really authenticity of being clear with your message. And it doesn't always have to be a sales message. Building that relationship with content and connection leads to that eventual sale and that building of the relationship. I think a lot of people think, oh, I just need to be clear on when I'm selling and when I'm not selling. So then sales feels icky and it feels like, oh, I've done all this great content and then we never sell. That's a problem too. If we never have a clear invitation of what's next, that's not helpful. But we also need to think about, we can't just every week post on Twitter and LinkedIn and all of these platforms, hey, buy my product. So where's that happy medium? And Benjamin, what have you seen from successful companies that have connected with you through their messaging? Because often we hear that word sales funnel, right? We see it as more of a relationship path. So what companies have you seen do that have led you down that relationship path?
I think we have done some work with Iron Point Financial, which is a financial planner based in the Pittsburgh area. They are very intent on connecting with people, hearing what their individual circumstances in life are, and then helping them find a personalized financial solution for where they're at.
Yeah.
Rather than some of the alternatives out there, which are very much like, you come in for your 15-minute thing, we'll sell you a basic program. Here are the tiers. You can do that. Sometimes people can find financial stuff daunting, but if someone takes the time to sit down with you to explain things, to really make sure that you know that they care about you and they care about where you're at and to meet you where you are, then you're more likely to entrust, hey, yeah, you can have my resources, my assets. Please grow them.
Yes.
I've met you. I trust you. I can see in our interaction. So I think they've done a great job. And I know that because we've been employed, or ClearSound's been employed, I've been contracted to help with some of the writing. We do write content weekly on a blog. We share financial perspectives, and there is a call to action in this, but it's optional. People, they read a content about unretirement, for example, which is a phenomenon where people either come out of retirement and go back into the workplace, or they continue well past the age of retirement deliberately. So I wrote an article about that. If that applies to someone, there's also an opportunity for them to say, in that stage of my life, I would like someone to help me manage my finances. Then they could, if they wanted to, talk to Iron Point Financial. But there's no obligation. It's just, if this is helpful for you, if this connects with you, hopefully you've learned something, hopefully value has been added. And if you want to take another step, let's walk that journey.
That's what's powerful about content in general. You do a lot of search engine optimization and things like that, but you start to build that, hey, I'm not just here to sell you something, I'm here to provide value. If we create content forever but see no sales out of it, that's not helpful either. I met with a gentleman recently who really has on his heart to coach well, but he hasn't been in a position to see the income out of what he wants to do. And so I genuinely said, hey, I think what you have is really good, but until you can figure out how to get sales out of this to feed your family and take care of what you're doing, I don't know if this is the right fit until you can get sales out of what you're doing. And so there's that healthy balance of, yes, we need content that provides value, and we need to recognize that it's actually not scary to sell to people with a clear message because your message is genuine, right? This is a huge proponent, a big thing of what you're about. And that's why I think you're such an important piece of the ClearSound team is you value the authenticity of the messaging. You value that the message is not just clear in terms of what it's asking from a call to action point of view, but that it's clear with how the brand is presenting themselves, right? So when we talk about brand identity, we talk about that's who you are, right? That's your mission, that's your vision, that's your values. And you need to know those things to actually clearly know what your message is. And so that's why we talk a lot about how to get the right kind of leads, not just getting leads for your business. I'll have people call me and say, "Can you get me leads through Google Ads or Facebook ads or social media or search engine optimization?" Absolutely. But let's think about who you are and how we present your message, right?
I guess I could start with the opposite as well, which is that if you don't know who you are, you will end up chasing the lowest common denominator
Mhm.
and probably spreading yourself too thin and doing everything for the bottom line. And like you said, it's not wrong to have sales. It's not wrong to feed your family. We need those things. But
Yes.
that's not the be all and end all. That's not where purpose happens.
Yes.
That's not where identity happens. That's just survival.
Yes.
That's getting along in a world which requires those things as a baseline. And then when you build on top of that's where the purpose, the identity, the value comes in. I think when you're telling people about identity, your purpose, your brand identity, that's where stories come in. You often see the cliche in films and television of these high powered executives in their offices with these inspirational things on the wall, a picture of huddled penguins and the caption teamwork or something like that. And it's a joke because it's not grounded in reality. It's just there and it fills the space.
Mhm.
But when you come across a real story, then people can connect with that. They can understand who they are and trust you as a result because they say, okay, I get where you're coming from. I get your value. I have the same value. I want to partner with you in this. We were running a workshop about identity and purpose.
Mhm.
One of the exercises that we do is called the Values in Action Gallery. It's a visualization where people go through a guided series of things where they imagine stuff. And in the gallery, you close your eyes and you're led down this corridor. And along the walls of this corridor are a series of paintings, like in a gallery. And as you walk past them, these paintings become clearer. And you've gone into this with a particular value that you hold on to. When you come up to a painting, you see it displayed, and your mind fills in
Mhm.
that picture of what that value looks like. And it could be anything from a duck to a moving painting, to a video, whatever it is. And one person, when we were debriefing this exercise, shared, as I came up to my painting, I saw that there was somebody holding a heart in their hand. And it was this beating heart and it was totally exposed. And as she's sharing this, she starts to tear up and cry. And she said, and the value that I came into this exercise with was bravery. I used to think that bravery was hiding things, but now I've realized that being vulnerable is a true form of bravery.
Wow.
Even as I share this now, you could feel it. You could feel the weight of what was being said. And there was this silence and hush of just, it's almost holy, sacred. It wasn't in a church building, it wasn't in a mosque, it wasn't anywhere else. It was in a corporate office. Something about that moment connected with everybody. And when you're able to share a brand story that says, here is not just an aspirational ideal, but here is something that we live out in practice, which is costly to us, then you connect with people who say, you know what? This is something I want to partner with long term. This is someone that I can trust
Yeah.
and walk with.
And so if you're listening and you're saying, okay, Benjamin just shared a great nugget, but what do I do with that practically for my business? Let me break that down for you. I think what you can do is think about why do I get up every day and do what I do? Whether you're a financial advisor, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're that carpenter, whether you're that coach I was talking to, whether you're a marketer just like us, why do you keep doing it? Many of you entrepreneurs or contractors, right? Why do you still do what you do? Why don't you could just go work somewhere, right? But why do you choose to do what you do? What makes you get up in the morning and what provides that purpose to the story you're telling, right? What differentiates you in your market? But then take that a step further and think about, okay, this is what differentiates me and this is the why behind what differentiates me. This is why I at Iron Point Financial do what we do uniquely, or this is why I at such and such a place do what we do. And that starts to take that powerful piece and actually connect it to your purpose. I think that there's a big connection between your purpose and your messaging and your brand. So, do you have any more thoughts on the connection of purpose? The business word for that would be mission.
Check out Values in Action. One of the things that feeds into our purpose is knowing what are the values that I live out, not just put on my wall, but I can tell you stories of when I've been brave, when I've persevered, when I've shown love and kindness to another human being. These are real values that I hold. Values in Action is a free resource. They are universally accepted values. Check them out from a business perspective as well, not just for your own unique individual life, but also in the way that you conduct your marketing affairs.
Mhm.
And if you can connect those two things together, then you can connect with your audience
That's
who
right.
will also share some of those values.
Yeah.
And it's not just a fluffy thing to say, but you're sharing something of who you are so that you can connect with other people and have
Yeah.
a meaningful relationship.
And you started this conversation by saying that you could tell very clearly when someone was being semi-manipulative with their marketing or their messaging. And we've circled all the way back around to that has a resemblance of what they value. Like their values shape that they're willing to get on a phone call and kind of push, push, push until somebody purchases or not. Whether they value that or they're hired by someone who values that, that's not clear branding. And it actually doesn't serve the customer long term. So, to summarize what Benjamin said is if you have clear messaging that comes from your brand, which is you discovering not just your individual purpose, but also what is unique to your business and the values of your business. We talk a lot about knowing your mission, your vision, your values, and tying them into your goals. Once you know your brand, and then once you really know your messaging, then those things get tied in with who your audience is. And you start to say, okay, this is who I am at ClearSound. This is who I am as the tree service, right? We have a tree service client. This is who I am as the tree service. I know we really value hard work and we value getting things done the first time. And because we value that, we're going to make sure that in our messaging, people know that we have a master's certification arborist. We have that master certification. Therefore, we have quality work. Therefore, when we show up on a job, we're going to do it right the first time. We're going to leave your yard in a good position. We're going to do all these things. And it's not just a marketing message, it's actually a value of what we value as a company. And that comes across in the work we produce. All those ABCs, that audience, brand, and communication, all tie in to create a strong marketing strategy. What's the next step? We've been working on a resource that I want you to check out below. Benjamin had just gone through the video at the end and we were talking around that. But I want you to check out the 5 ways to attract the right kind of leads PDF. I'll link it below. And what that is it starts to tie the pieces of audience, branding, and communication together for you to think about, okay, when I meet a new person and we go through a very different approach than probably what you're used to about how to connect with the right kind of leads. And what it is, you're starting to qualify those leads from a very relational and connection perspective. You're knowing who they are, what they're doing, what they value. And that's allowing you to qualify the lead. That's also thinking about it from a different perspective. We really believe that if you can learn this process and these steps, that your business can stand out from the noise and create a clear sound. I think Benjamin did such an exemplary job of just taking these concepts and really bridging them back to the values and bridging them back to things you can do. So, what I want you to think about, I love to leave you guys with something to practically do. So, one, check out that resource. You can check out the values and actions that Benjamin, he can get me a link for that as well. And I want you to put in the comments below what is your mission? Tell us your company's mission. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to give you feedback on it. We review mission statements all the time. So if you're saying, oh, Derek, I don't fully know what mine is, I think it might be this, let us know. We'd love to shoot you a message back and say, this sounds great. Let's connect. And we can give you some thoughts on your mission. Because I think it's a really important piece of how you develop your company culture, right? Benjamin and I can go on, but there's a big piece to how your mission serves everything that you touch, not just your marketing messages, but your internal culture, the clients you serve, how you serve them, what you do. So, Benjamin, thanks so much for diving into the power of story and how story ultimately connects back to your brand and how your brand ultimately connects with your audience. And so, thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, we will